just wanted to tell you that I'm going to a closing today, and I wanted to let you know how this happened. It was a really unique situation where I have a buyer where they're retiring from Charlotte, and they wanted to live in one particular neighborhood here in West Ashley. Well, in this particular neighborhood, there is no inventory. Oh, there's no inventory anywhere, really, to tell you the truth. And this is an older neighborhood, and when things sell, they sell privately for sale by owner. They rarely go on the market with a realtor. And normally, these sales are very dated on the interior and all this. Anyway, so what I had to do was I told them my plan and how I would find them a house. And I had a year to do it. So when I started this a couple months ago, I sent out letters to this neighborhood. I waited about 2 weeks. I received one reply. We went and looked at that house, and the guy was unrealistic about his sales price. So I just told him that my buyers aren't going to pay that. So we went ahead and we kept looking. I called in the neighborhood, and I got a hold of another lady. She's 80 years old. Her house is paid for, 2,400 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, and she does not have to move. But she was interested in moving because her house is too big, and she's a widow, and she's, like I said, 80 years old. So I told her the first thing I need to do is come over and look at her house to see if my client's going to like that. So I did that. I took pictures, sent it to my client. She loved it. We went and looked at it. She really liked it. She brought in her designer because they're going to do some renovations and things. Well, the thing with this lady said, I'm not selling my house for less than $400,000 or I'm not moving. And I was a little hesitant in the beginning to even be working with her because I had to find her a place to live as well. And the only place she was going to go was a particular neighborhood here in West Ashley over off McConnell, which it's kind of like a senior citizen community, like a Del Webb, but it's not a Del Webb. So I had to do the same thing with that neighborhood. I had to send out letters and all that, and that's another story. But anyway, my clients made an offer on this house for her price. Oh, and she wasn't going to pay my commission, so my buyers had to pay my commission for finding this house. And I really can't believe it even happened because it's kind of really unique. This lady did not have to move, and I had to find her a house, and I did find her a house as well. But I'm talking about this one. So the appraisal, they are financing half of it, and I spoke to the appraiser. I said, are you familiar with the area? This is kind of a unique situation here. There's no sales, and the sales that have sold are all private. And I told him that's how we came up with their price. He goes, yeah, I grew up in this area, blah, blah, blah. Well, the appraisal came back in at $365, way lower than the $400,000 they're paying for this house. Well, I explained to them up front that this house may not appraise for what you're paying for it, but you're in a unique situation. Our seller does not need to sell. So they said, that's okay, we know, we want to live in this neighborhood. They lived in this neighborhood before, and they wanted to be back in this neighborhood because they grew up in this neighborhood and everything. They sold their house in their neighborhood about 7 years ago. So the appraisal came in, and I wrote a rebuttal. Not that they cared because they were buying it either way. And I wrote a rebuttal saying, hey, I talked to the appraiser. He didn't have a lot of stuff to work with, but I showed them 5 sales in here that were done privately that sold for $385 or more, and all of them had to be renovated. And even my buyer had been in a few of them. So I showed them my value as being a real estate appraiser as well as a real estate broker. You know, I brought something to the table for them, and they trusted me. So I'm extremely grateful for them. And, you know, they could have paid cash for this house, and the price really didn't matter. But somebody else, this deal would have fell apart. And the appraiser, you know, I gave him all the information about how we came up with this price and all this, and he didn't mention one thing about it in the appraisal. Those sales that sold for sale by owner were, they account for something. It's typical in this neighborhood, and I'm driving around this neighborhood right now because I'm actually going to get the seller of the house and taking her to the closing downtown because she's 80 years old and she got a little frazzled when I told her it was downtown. And my buyer's okay with that. Super nice. But I want to let you know how I found this house and how I got this deal closed by sending out letters, calling into the neighborhood, and things like that. So, and I mean, I don't know. There are ways to find homes in a low inventory market. In West Ashley, I told her that I could list this house right now for $425 or more, and I'd have multiple offers on it within days of being listed because it's big, it's well maintained, it's good condition, and there's no houses in West Ashley that are for sale. I mean, none, really. It's just crazy that it seems like inventory is like at an all-time low. So they're basically paying $400,000 for this house. It appraised at $365,000, and they're paying my commission on top of that. So they're paying for it, but they're very, very happy. They gave me a really well review, and they were very happy with my service. And they said the value of me being a real estate appraiser meant something to them, because I went above and beyond. I explained everything to them up front about how everything was going to happen. So I just want to let you know that there are ways to find houses in low inventory markets, and letters is one of them, because that's how I did this one. Anyway, you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell in the near future, have them call me. Bye, guys.